Alright, we got it up on the bench. We got our used dust boots off, and we got our pistons out. You can see they're looking pretty yummy. So what happens is they get a little bit of corrosion built up in here, and the brakes inside get a little bit of corrosion built up right in there. See the wear marks? So we're going to take all those out. Well, those things were just really just sticking hard. It was hard to get them out. Of course, we'll have to get these seals out of here too. So some of the systems have the seals in the calipers themselves, but this is the best kind right here. All right. So in order to, the neighbor's running around with his car. So in order to get the seals out, you have to be real gentle with them so you don't cut them or damage them. It's real important that you don't damage these things because you're going to reuse them. If not, you have to go buy a rebuild kit. And there's a couple of different types of rebuild kits. You have ones that comes with the pistons, ones that don't come with the pistons, and those are about 12 bucks. The seals themselves, like these, I think there's a set for like $2 or $3. There's like a $12 kit with this, and then there's like a $45 kit for that, and the whole thing without the core is like $65. I think the cheapest I found was O'Reilly's or AutoZone, I can't remember, for like $57, $58 with like a $24 core. So anyways, let's go ahead and let's get these seals out. Alright, let's go ahead and try to get one of these seals out. I'm going to zoom you in here. I'm going to come in vertical like this and keep trying to rock it and get it. There it is. There you go. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Whoop, look out. Just kind of stick it in vertical between the thing and kind of walk it. There we go, like that. And then you can push them out. Now don't stretch these. Try not to stretch them. Just gently move them out. I mean, what I mean by stretch is don't be like tugging on them like this. You don't want them to expand any more than they already are. There we go. So now let's wipe everything down and clean it off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Now the reason I'm using rubbing alcohol instead of brake clean, this is a lot cheaper. So I'm going to do that off camera. I don't think you guys need to see me playing around with alcohol. It's no big deal. You guys can do that. So let me get that done, and then we'll get back to it. Alright, we got it all cleaned up. Cleaned all these up really well with isopropyl alcohol. You can see they turned out really well. There's a part number on it. Go ahead and I'll put it in a picture inset. For you guys if you want to try to order them. I don't know what the part numbers is for that. I didn't see one on it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to hone these out with a brake hone tool. For you guys that want to know, there you go. That's the tool we'll be using right there. And it looks like this. For you guys that don't know what it looks like, just screws in there. It's got a little flexible spring on it right there. Just put a little bit of oil on these and you run them in and out of here till the marks are gone. And then for these right here, you need some 400 grit sandpaper like this, wet dry. And what you're doing is you're honing these out and you're sanding these down so that the piston actually fits in there all the way to the bottom. So these don't want to go in over time. They get a little bit of rusty, or they expand or get dirt or whatever on them. So, but they have to go in all the way, and they have to have just a little bit of play. Once you do that, then you can install the actual seals right here. You'll install those seals in here. And let's go ahead and sand these down. Now you can do this a couple of ways. You can stick a stick of wood in here and split it on the ends and put some screws in it and mount it in a drill press, and use the sandpaper while this spins in the drill press like this. Or you can do what I do, which 99.9% of the people out there are not going to have this option available to them, but I'm blessed that, man, I got this option, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to show you what I do. Like I said, you don't need this tool that I'm going to use. You can do it by hand, but it'll take forever. So let's go ahead and let's go get these cleaned up, and I'll show you what I do. Alright, here's my solution right here. I just put it in a lathe and I use some sandpaper on it like that. So let's turn the lathe on. And this makes the job so much easier. And what the task is to get this thing sanded down and pretty much level all the way across so that it'll actually slide into the caliper fairly freely and have a couple thousandths clearance. Couple thousandths clearance, you stick it in there and it moves just a little bit, you pretty much got it. What you're doing is you're getting all the old varnish and any corrosion and any stuff off of this. That's what you're doing. This is 400 grit sandpaper, wet dry sandpaper, by the way. Alright, so I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to do the other side. Alright, so now we'll get the other side. Like I said, if you got something where you can chuck this up in a drill, put the drill in a vise and do this, that's fine. Or you can figure out a way to mount it into a drill press with a piece of wood down in the hollow point inside here. You can do it and it'll make the job so much easier. Now there's 4 of these on the front, 2 on each side, and then there's 2 in the back. So you've got quite a few of these here. You've got 6 of them in the car. So alright, let's go ahead and get this over and see how it fits. Alright, we're getting ready to hone it out. And the hone will actually increase the caliper piston hole just slightly, depending on how much you do this. But the important thing is it'll smooth it all the way out, all the way through the hole, and it will also remove any damage or corrosion or anything that's in there too. So the way you get these in here is you grab these little fingers and you stick them in here like this. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going up and down. Now you don't want to bottom out, because if it catches one of these little tabs, in the bottom, it might break the stone. And you can pull them out. And you get some paper towels. You're going to use a lot of these, trust me. Use some paper towels and wipe it all out. Probably with a little bit of alcohol in the towel to break up any of the oil or anything. So let me get that done. Now I'm going to take you over and I'm going to show you the inside. Here's the inside. Those little marks right here is where I pulled the caliper out. So you can see where right down in here on the bottom, let me use my screwdriver. You can see down here on the bottom where there's still some roughness, and then up here it's nice and smooth, and on the bottom it appears to be smooth too, right in here. So this is the wear area right here. So let's go ahead and do that some more. Let's go ahead, and I want to show you the other one though. This is the one I haven't done yet, and this is what you're removing. You're removing all these little ridges and everything like that. So let's actually take one of the pistons and the one that I sanded down and see how it fits now. It may not fit all the way, but it should fit a lot better. Maybe. There we go. So it's actually about the same. So the reason it fits in like that is either because the hole is wider on the top, or the piston is narrower on the bottom, or it could be a combination of both. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing both. We'll be honing this out, and then we'll be sanding this down too. Let's drop it in there. They're a little tight coming in. All right, hold on. All right, I got it in. Now I can't. There it goes. So you can see that once I get down to here, it wants to start sticking. So we don't want that. You should have just a little bit of play like that and all the way down. And it should go all the way to the bottom easily. And then you should be able to rotate it 360 degrees without it binding. That's what you're looking for. So let's go do this one a little bit more. I'm going to hone this one a little bit more too to try to get some of those bad areas on the bottom out. So let's get to it. Alright guys, this is what I was talking about earlier. So you got to take your digital calipers and kind of run it around the end here. And you're going to gently push on it, and I mean gently because you can force this into distortion. And check the bottom of your piston. And it looks like I'm running about 1.772 inches. So I'm just going to call it 1773. And you run around to the top side and you do the same thing. Get it on the high spot. And we're running it's like 1775. So I'm going to call it 1776. So we're running 1773 to 1776. So that means there's 3 thousandths difference from the top and here. This is 3 thousandths wider. And that's why when you put it in the piston hole, it starts to go down and then it starts to bind when the top gets close to it. You don't want this. This is the area that absorbs all the moisture and gets all the corrosion in it. And that's what you're trying to get rid of. So the piston right here is the top and the bottom down there are approximately the same, and it may be a little bit wider on the bottom slightly, but what really matters is the top up in here where all the pressure is at and where the seal is at. As the hydraulic fluid expands, it will center this piston in here all the way down, and this seal will block it and it'll push the piston up. The hydraulic or brake fluid will push it up. There we go. Now, let's see if the piston goes in a little further this time. This is the bigger of the two pistons. And I think the pistons are, I think the bottom is just about right. It's got just about the right play in there. But the top needs to be sanded. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to sand the tops. And on the pistons themselves, and make sure that they sit in there good. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that both pistons fit in both holes, and that both pistons are interchangeable, both turn freely in the holes. Let's see if I can't focus. There we go. Both turn freely in the holes, and both go all the way to the bottom. See, it just stopped right there. Thump. You heard it go thump. That's not the bottom. The bottom is, it'll go down to about here. Right here all the way around. So we've got a long ways to go yet. If you got a lathe, it makes this job so much easier. Or if you just go out and buy new pistons, it makes it so much easier. But if you don't have that kind of money and you're on a serious budget, you can use sandpaper and a drill. Like I said, you could probably build yourself a little wood collet, stick in there. Stick it on your drill press, or even stick it on your hand drill, put it in a vise with that wood in there, and then use sandpaper on this, and you should be able to get it. It's just gonna take time. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sand these and get them all the way fit in, and then we're gonna show you the rest of it, because this process takes a little while. It takes about an hour or so. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then we'll come back. Alright guys, we're back. We've spent time over on the lathe with some fresh 400 grit sandpaper, and this is what we were looking for. And it should easily turn around, and then actually you should have just a little bit of play. You should hear just a little tap, a tiny little bit of a tap when you're doing this. Turn it around, there should always be a little tap. And what that's for is when the brakes get hot, this expands and this expands, it doesn't bind up or stick in the caliper, which would lock your brakes up, and you wouldn't want that. And they should fit in both sides the same. This one's actually just like a 1/2 thousandths looser. There we go. So that's what you want, and then both of them should do the same. They should fit the same. This one's a little looser because the hole's a little looser, and I took more off of this one. There you go. So that's what you're looking for, and the holes should be clean. So now what we got to do is we have to go ahead and clean these up really good. Both of these. We have to clean these holes out really well and blow any debris or anything that's out of there. And we'll use some brake clean, and it'll come out this hole right here on the bottom right here. That's the brake bleed hole. I'm sorry, that's the brake line hole. So once we see a little bit coming out already, so we'll clean this up real good. We have to clean these grooves up too. I forgot about that. We got to clean all these grooves out really well, and get some paper towel in there with some alcohol, clean them up, and clean everything out as spotless as we can get it. No hairs, no nothing in there. And then we'll blow it out with some of this, some computer duster. We'll blow everything out, and then once we're sure it's dry, then we'll go ahead and reassemble it. Alright guys, that pretty much concludes the second part of this video series. In the next one, we're going to go ahead and do what I said. We're going to finish cleaning it out, and then we're going to go ahead and reassemble it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. God bless y'all, and keep none you out. Bye.